What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I am very excited to share with you my first roll through my newly acquired RB67 Pro. It's one of those dream rolls where everybody I asked agreed to participate, and it's I got to shoot in shade, in sun, and with the flash, and I got to really have a really good idea of what I'm dealing with with this camera. Um, I think most people know me from my work with my Pentax 67. Um, this isn't totally dissimilar. There are a couple extra steps, but it is a leaf shutter camera. And so when you have the leaf shutter lens on the Pentax 67, there are an equal number of steps to take. And so that didn't really throw me off a whole lot. I'd say the biggest difference between this camera and the 67, the Pentax 67, is the variable amount of light that comes in the closer you are to your subject. And so I purposely didn't adjust for that because I wanted to see really how much different the amount of light coming in was. And so you'll see on the first frame that it was one stop underexposed. And it's interesting because I shot it a half a stop overexposed as I would normally, and then going by this gauge right here on the side, or this chart, it said I would lose a half a stop with the light. And so that left me right at about box speed in that shady spot with the bright backlight. And whether the textbook's there or not, or how they explain it, I don't know. But I want to arrive at one stop overexposed in shade with a brightly backlit scene. And that's how you avoid having it be muddy. That's how you get a lot of light on the face and still retain some texture in the skin. So after that shot, I shot with flash, and those came out just right. And then I adjusted for the light loss with the close focus on the very last shot, and end up with a perfect exposure. So I will tell you about each subject in the slideshow. Couple little heartbreakers in there that I'll let you know about, and I ended on a really high note. So stay tuned till the very end to see a real, true, living legend who has changed culture for radio and television, and who doesn't get enough credit. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. Oh, also, I did get a roll of Kodak Gold 200, so let me know what you would like to see me shoot on that in the comments. I will talk to you next time. Bye, guys. So this girl was skateboarding back and forth in front of me for about 10 minutes, and there was a photographer standing with me, and he was asking me who my ideal subject is, who I'm looking for out in the world. And I said, that girl right there would be perfect. But I'm not so selfish as to go and inject myself into somebody's life if they don't seem like they're in a good place to be receptive, or if they look like they aren't feeling like they're being social that day or something like that. I don't make it about me. I want everybody to have a really good experience. And so after he left, she came and sat down sort of near me, and I approached her, and she said yes within about 1 second, and I'm very happy she did. So this was the first shot I did later that night with a flash. I just kind of want to pop one off and make sure everything's working right, and these kids were interested in my camera, and so I set them up and shot it off. Of course, I got a blinker and a no-looker in there. What are you going to do? So I forgot to mention that as I arrived at the beach that night, I ran into two girls who I'd seen earlier in the day, that day, who I wanted to photograph, but I didn't. The timing just wasn't right. And I ran into them again right when I got into the parking lot, and I told them that I missed them earlier and I wanted to photograph them. They said yes. And it was the first two shots with using the flash. The girls could not have been more beautiful and unique looking, and I fired off the shots and happily went on my way. And when I went to go shoot the next shot you're about to see, no, it was the last shot I just showed you, I couldn't fire the shot off. I realized the dark slide was in, and I realized, oh shit, I didn't take the dark slide out for those last two photos. So I was feeling pretty crap about myself, and I went home and I started saying, well, why in the hell with all these safety features they wouldn't make it so you can't shoot with the dark slide in? And apparently you can't. Somehow I did. I can't explain it. So 2 blank frames, and I actually messaged them and told them I fucked up, and we might meet up again. So stay tuned if I do a redo of those photos. Okay, back to the normal schedule programming. Bye. This girl was walking by, and I don't remember how we ended up talking, but I asked her if she wanted to take a photo, and she was happy enough to put down her stuff and take off her purse and pose for me. And man, what a perfect face. I mean, she knew exactly the mood I was going for, and she nailed it. She still hasn't contacted me yet, which is kind of a bummer. This guy is the dream. I mean, so many guys are just sort of, I don't know, what do you call it, basic looking or uneventful. And this guy just was awesome. I mean, look at him. He's perfectly groomed and had everything working in just all the right places. And he's the ideal dude to photograph. This guy too. I mean, there's more cowboys down at the beach now than there were 10 years ago, but it's still rare. And he was kind of being funny with his friend in front of me for a long time, and they're playing with this guy who has birds down there. And I waited until the right moment, and I asked him if he wanted to take a photo, and he said yes. And I'm very grateful he did. So this is the guy I wanted to talk to you about. This is Jim Poorman Trenton, and he was a DJ on K-Rock in the 80s. And I think if you're under 40, maybe 35, you would have no idea who he is. But I'm quite sure you know the names Dr. Drew Pinsky and Adam Carolla. And this is the guy who's responsible for them having a career. He created Loveline on K-Rock, which I think became a TV show eventually too. But Adam Carolla took his place after he was fired from K-Rock. I think he was fired. I don't think he quit. I think he was fired. But this guy really made a huge impact on culture for TV and radio. And it's a real shame that he's been sort of left out of the history books, because if you were alive in the 80s and 90s for that matter, Loveline was a really big deal. This is pre-internet, and so people sat down by their radios and they would listen to this show, and they talked about sex and disease and relationships. And Dr. True was sort of like the straight guy who would like give the medical point of view, and Jim Poorman Trenton was like the color character. He drew people in with his magnetic personality, and it was such an honor to photograph him. He's still on the radio. If you look him up at 101.5, it's a local Newport Beach radio. I think KOCI. Give the man some love. He's made a huge impact in this world, and he's been sort of left out to pasture. So thank you, poor man. I really appreciate your time. So that's it, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know what you want to see me shoot that roll of Kodak Gold 200 with. Thank you so much for your support. I'll talk to you next time. Bye, guys.